There has probably been censorship almost as as long as people have known to communicate through spoken word. There has been censorship. And the motives for censorship vary. But in my personal opinion, people censorship, what motivates the censor is a sense of moral superiority. They believe they know what is right or what the people can handle as far as information is concerned. You know, once the American film industry entered into the talkies, once sound became prevalent and the silent movies stopped being, being around through talking pictures, it's when the cinema entered into a form of censorship. And there were moral crusaders that censored in the name of moral decency. This was done through the Hayes office and also the Catholic organization, the Legion of Decency. And we also, once radio came along, we got the FCC, which also, when television came along, they controlled that as well. And oftentimes, in this country, and probably throughout the West and in Europe, people censored what was offensive to the Christian majority. And you could maybe even call it the Judeo-Christian majority. I could be wrong on that. And like I said, I welcome anyone that disagrees with me to do a comment video and even post it on my page. I love learning new things, and I like being corrected, so long as the correction is done in a non-cruel spirit. Even if it is, I prefer it than just a thumbs down. But let me continue with this. So yes, for the longest time, censorship was done in the name of what was good for society and what was moral for society, and that the things that went along our America's Judeo-Christian values, which was the vast majority of Americans, and most Americans agreed with this type of censorship. And after the 1950s, this kind of censorship started to slowly erode, and then you got into the 70s and the 60s, and then the 70s, all things that our Judeo-Christian nation or at least our consensus, our largely Christian nation, it kind of went against that. And, everything was, if you were an adult, you could almost hear and listen to anything, so long as you could pay for it. I mean, the public airwaves were still largely protected. And that's the way it was for a long time. And oftentimes, the censors were primarily conservatives who were censorious. They were the ones who wanted our TV shows to be less offensive to Christians. Jump to the internet. And the two things that you cannot talk about on social media is what the social media considers to be conspiracy theories and hate speech. And what is determined as hate speech. They would say, I guess, white supremacy. And they do it for the same reasons that the moral crusaders of the past, they're moral crusaders in another sense. And they think that it is good for society not to hear certain information because they could be swayed. So they want to control information, just as the conservative Christians wanted to control information in the past and have a more moral and decent society. They are the moral censors want us to do the same, but it's combating what they consider to be racism, how they define it, and how they define hate speech. And the motivation, like I've said before, is they believe that they know what is morally correct for everyone. Now, there are always exceptions to those rules. There are people that may be afraid, that money, financially could be hurt. And of course, that was also one of the motivating factors too, was like, hey, our sponsors won't go, aren't down for this. I remember people talking about Star Trek and they had their first interracial kiss. And I heard that Star Trek would not be shown in southern states. I could be wrong on that, though. That could be inaccurate. It might have been that episode. I don't know if the show was completely blackballed in southern states, but money is a motivating factor. But I think a larger motivating factor is the sense of morality, that they know what is best for everyone. These are kind of modern day inquisitors and modern day moral censors. And they seem to be, and it's now coming from the left. The left believes they know what is correct and right for everyone to hear. And if you say things that they feel go along with hate speech or unhinged conspiracy theories, they will absolutely censor you. So this is where we're at today. Hey guys, if you believe I'm wrong, leave a comment down below. Don't just vote. I mean, a lot of people just vote a thumbs down. I wish those that voted a thumbs down would explain to me why they think I'm wrong. Or better yet, I wouldn't even mind if you posted a video saying why you disagree. I wish YouTube, I mean, I guess YouTube doesn't allow that as much, but I thought, again, for a long time, YouTube was the answer to the mainstream, and average citizens could talk back and make their opinions known. And if they, vocalize their opinions well, they would get rewarded for that. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. YouTube and Facebook have become far more restrictive in what you're allowed, what gets platformed. And by the way, when people say I'm in favor of freedom of speech but not giving a platform, deplatforming is a sense of censorship. I mean, you can speak in a closet where no one can hear you, but if people can't hear you, they're actually censoring you. Hey guys, like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And if you don't like it, leave a comment down below. And better yet, do your own video where you disagree with me. And this comes out to Joe. Joe did a video one time where he disagreed with me, and I actually changed my opinion. It was about chattel slavery. I misconstrued something, but yeah, I always welcome criticism. I prefer constructive, but any kind of criticism, I welcome it. If it's, like I said, if it's constructive, if it's just mean-spirited to be cruel, then I'll reject it, but I appreciate it coming anyway. Anyway, like and subscribe and share this video, because, of course, YouTube and the social media companies aren't what they used to be. They're not for the voice of the average person, because they don't let the average person have that large of a platform. All right, thank you, and all the best.